Yep.
Antonio, coach is on the line.
Hey, B.
Coach.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, coach?
What the hell's going on, man?
There's a villain all over the news, man.
Is Antonio all right?
He didn't behave like this before he started getting his money.
There's something wrong with AB.
Antonio Brown has been an absolute embarrassment.
You're not a villain. You're the most misunderstood fucking human being in my entire life that I've ever met. I mean, I brought you here because you're my favorite guy. I've never seen a guy work hard. And I don't know where you are in your life right now, off the street. All I know is you got a lot of things going. There's a lot of people that have an opinion about you. And whether it be good or bad, you're in the spotlight all the time. Let me ask you this, do you want to be a Raider or not?
I've been trying to be a Raider since day one. I've been fucking working my ass off harder than anyone. I don't know why it's a question of me being a Raider. Like, do you guys want me to be a Raider?
Please stop this shit and just play football. How hard is it, man? You're a great football player. Just play football.
Yeah, but I'm more than a football player, man. I'm a real person. It ain't about the football. I know how to do that. I'll show you guys down the daily. This is my life. Ain't no more games.
Former Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Antonio Brown said he was playing injured under team knowledge before walking off the field mid-game Sunday against the New York Jets, and that he will undergo ankle surgery. Brown said as much in a lengthy statement released on Wednesday evening, his first public comments since Sunday's game. Earlier this week, head coach Bruce Arians said Brown did not tell coaches he was injured, despite Arians saying Brown is no longer a Buck. Following the game, the team made no roster moves with Brown on the wire on Monday. Because of my commitment to the game, I relented to pressure directly from my coach to play injured. Despite the pain, I suited up. The staff injected me with what I know now as a powerful and sometimes dangerous painkiller that the NFL Players Association has warned players against using, and I gave it my all for the team, Brown wrote in a statement. I played until it was clear that I cannot use my ankle to safely perform my playing responsibilities. On top of that, the pain was extreme. I took a seat on the sideline, and my coach came up to me very upset and shouted, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" I told him it's my ankle, but he knew that. It was well documented that we had discussed it. He then ordered me to get on the field. I said, "Coach, I can't." He didn't call for medical attention. Instead, he shouted at me, "You're done." He ran his fingers across his throat. Coach was telling me that if I didn't play hurt, then I was done with the Bucs. Brown added that he underwent an MRI Monday morning and said that it showed broken bone fragments in his ankle, the ligament torn from the bone, and cartilage loss. He alleged that the two top orthopedic surgeons reviewed the MRI and that he scheduled surgery, but the Bucs demanded that he see a doctor of their choice. The 33-year-old suddenly exited Sunday's game against the New York Jets in the third quarter of Tampa Bay's comeback victory. Brown appeared frustrated on the sidelines in the middle of the team's touchdown drive. He pulled off his uniform and shoulder pads as teammate Mike Evans tried to calm him down. Brown proceeded to take off his undershirt and gloves, throwing them to the crowd sitting behind the Bucs bench. Brown had 3 receptions for 26 yards before going to the locker room. The Bucs went on to beat the Jets 28-24 with Tom Brady's game-winning 33-yard touchdown pass to Cyril Grayson with 15 seconds remaining on the clock. That's obviously a difficult situation, Brady said about Brown's post-game. "We all love him and we care about him deeply. I think everyone should be compassionate and empathetic towards some very difficult things." Arians said Monday, declined to say what he and Brown spoke about before the wide receiver left the field Sunday. I didn't know he was injured," Arians said. "It was pretty obvious what happened. He left the field and that was it. We had a conversation and he left the field. Arians said he has not been in contact with Brown since the game. Later Monday night, Brown was spotted sitting courtside at the Nets' 110-104 win over the Grizzlies. And there you have it right there, man. Antonio Brown, man. Everybody saw the video. Everyone had questions when this particular incident happened live on camera mid-game. And now we're starting to kind of hear pieces of the story as different proponents in different parts of this particular situation. When we refer to Bruce Arians, the players involved, and now today we've heard from Antonio Brown in his side of the story. Now, many speculated that after this particular incident happened, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were playing dirty with Antonio Brown. Many claim that, according to Sports Track, when you look at some of the bonuses that Antonio Brown could have potentially hit in his contract, he was very close to hitting over $1 million in bonuses. Had he played the rest of Sunday's game and played next week, he definitely would have hit those bonuses before the season ended. And some people allege that the Bucs were trying to save that $1 million by benching him intentionally. But as this story starts to unfold, we've heard from Bruce Arians, we heard from Tom Brady. Now we hear from Antonio Brown, and now he's giving his particular side of the story, and he is bringing light to a side that Bruce Arians has himself denied. And Arians said that he was not aware that Antonio Brown was injured at all. AB, he's saying that the coaching staff knew he was injured, right? His foot was injected and he was playing hurt this entire time. And so now we kind of have to determine what's particularly going on. And I've heard a number of things. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. I've heard a lot of people, similar to what Tom Brady said, be really empathetic towards Antonio Brown in this particular situation, feel sorry for him. There are other things going on. Other people have alleged that there are mental issues going on and people need to take a step back, allow him time to get his mind right. And, let's see what the doctors say. Is it something mental? Is he just acting out because other things are going on? Or is he simply showing a pattern of unprofessional behavior? So I'm going to quickly run down his track record. I mean, some of these things can help you kind of decide where to go with this. But let's start back with it. August 3rd, 2019, foot troubles for Antonio Brown. All right, when Antonio Brown was in the Raiders camp, he entered a cryotherapy machine without the proper footwear. If anybody's been in one of these cryo chambers, you have to put gloves and socks on. Generally, there's usually someone watching the machine. I'm assuming in the NFL setting, these players are able to get in this machine, and there's not somebody just constantly monitoring how the players get in and out. But I'm sure there's instructions on what to do, but you're never supposed to get in these cryotherapy machines without gloves and socks, especially when you're standing in there up to 2 to 3 minutes and temperatures can get ridiculously cold. So he went into Raiders camp with that particular issue. Obviously, later on with the Raiders in that camp, he had helmet issues. Some of the drama included reports of Brown threatening to retire, grievances being filed, and Brown spray painting his old helmet. And Brown chose a new helmet by early September that made him feel comfortable. So obviously there was a helmet issue. In September of 2019, skipping workouts and fighting with the GM, Brown was fined nearly $54,000 for missing team workouts. He ended up posting a letter that was sent to him by the team describing some of his fines. Reports indicated that Brown lashed out at general manager Mike Mayock because he was unhappy with the fines, and there was a clash on the sideline with that particular situation as well. After that particular situation, Brown requested a release from the Raiders after signing that $30 million guaranteed contract. So then the Raiders end up releasing Antonio Brown. Then the Patriots sign Antonio Brown. But then in September 2019, Antonio Brown was sued for sexual assault. All right, he was sued for sexual assault. Everybody was familiar with that particular situation, and most of us agreed that situation was probably complete BS. And I think the person who filed that a suit against him saw some of the troubles he was having in the media, saw that a lot of the people in the media were slandering his name and said, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity for a money grab or cash grab if we sue at this time. Obviously, the NFL launched the investigation into the matter, and as of November 2020, the lawsuit has not been resolved, but we haven't heard much of it since then. All right. He did end up playing for the Patriots, but then in September 2019, Brown was released by the Patriots. He was released by the Patriots on September 20th as the NFL investigated more allegations against him. All right. Then in July of 2020, Antonio Brown, he was suspended 8 games. He was suspended 8 games by the NFL. Not due to the sexual assault allegations, but for an incident in January 2020. He was in violation of the NFL's personal code of conduct. All right, so the suspension stemmed from Brown's January arrest connected to an attack of a driver of a moving truck company. The initial charge that he had was felony assault and battery, and in March the charges handed down included burglary of a vehicle, misdemeanor battery, and misdemeanor criminal mischief. All right. Then on October 23rd, 2020, Antonio Brown gets another opportunity to play football. He signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know that even before AB signing with the Bucks, Bruce Arians had came out and said he was completely against signing AB and said they wouldn't sign him. Tom Brady said, no, we need that man over here. He's a talented wide receiver. And they actually signed Antonio Brown. Brown was paid a maximum of $2.5 million in 2020, and with most of that coming through incentives. All right, and he was prorated a base salary of $750,000. So Tampa had worked to sign him before week 8. He missed several games because of the suspension, and then they ultimately ended up using him. He ended up debuting for the Buccaneers, and he finished the season with them. Antonio Brown. Then this year, after winning the Super Bowl, things are on the up and up. Obviously, going into this year with the pandemic issues, the COVID issues. In December 2nd, 2021, Antonio Brown was suspended for supplying the NFL with a fake vaccination card. The NFL launched an investigation into Brown's vaccination status after his personal chef accused him of supplying the league with a vaccination card. So I'm not particularly sure what went wrong with that relationship with his chef, but the chef ran to the NFL and snitched on him, man. And the NFL launched this investigation. The league found that the allegations against him and his teammate Mike Edwards were accurate and suspended him for 3 games for misrepresenting his vaccination status. And there was some speculation that the Bucks would consider cutting Brown, as Arians previously said of Brown, he screws up one more time, he's gone. All right, so he was already kind of on the edge right there with the coaching staff. Obviously, having a fake vaccination status card, it's going to bring a lot of negative energy to your team, especially a team that's looking to get to the Super Bowl, and especially for a player that's been surrounded by so much drama. I don't think that's what the team wanted. But you know what? As time waned on, we watched that particular suspension kind of die down. Not a lot of people were talking about it. I honestly believe that a lot of people kind of understood his plight in that particular situation. I think, it's kind of a touchy thing. It's kind of personal right there. A lot of people were really on his side with that one, especially when the media and the NFL looked over what Aaron Rodgers did with his vaccination status. All right. And so, again, Antonio Brown ended up in late December. He sounded off on reporters after returning from that suspension. Obviously, he didn't have a lot to say. He specifically said, he says, you guys, it's all drama. Brown said, it's all football. We're here to talk about Carolina. And the media was just pressing him about questions about his vaccination status, and he didn't want to hear any of it. And he ended up sounding off on the refs. And then, as we have it, and as you guys saw in the video, Antonio Brown disrobes and runs off the field during the game versus the Jets. He exited the game in a bizarre fashion. He was seen on the bench in uniform chatting with Mike Evans. Then he ripped off his jersey and pads, threw everything to the crowd, and stormed off the field. We've heard what Arians had to say. We've heard what Tom Brady had to say about the issue. But now is really time for us to, after looking at his track record, after looking what the media says, we could look at what other sports aficionados, whether it's small or big on YouTube, have had to say about this. I've seen other people get attacked for criticizing Antonio Brown about this particular issue. And after examining this particular issue, looking at his history from team to team to team, I honestly can't say or give him the cop-out excuse of mental issues. I don't believe that it's mental issues sparking such a chain of events. We're talking about on every team that he's been on, there's been some type of drama that's following his name. And in the beginning of this video, you heard, right? You heard the Raiders coach, right? You heard the Raiders coach speaking to AB about it. Look, he says, like, it's drama all the time. Can we just play football? And you know what? AB, to a certain extent, was right. He was telling his coaching staff, look, it's bigger than football. You know, what about me as a person? And I understand that you, as an athlete, you want to be able to have that player-coach relationship where the coach kind of understands some of the things that you're going on, that you're going through off the field. And you want to be able to speak with your coach about some of these things. So there's some type of balance, and it doesn't feel like you're just going into work and it's just a work relationship. You want to be able to have some form of a personal relationship with your coaching staff. Is that possibly what he was trying to build with Bruce Arians? You know, I based on some of the things that Bruce Arians has said in the past about AB, before AB was signed with the BUCS, it's almost as if he felt his hand was forced into signing AB, and he never wanted him there in the first place. And they only brought him back because the BUCS won the Super Bowl. And this is somebody that your star quarterback, a guy that did not have to sign with the BUCS, said, I want Antonio Brown here. Obviously, we saw the connection that these two had when they were in New England. AB said no. And this tells you the power of Tom Brady. He said, no, we want AB here. And this was even after Bruce Arians said, no, we're not signing him. So it almost felt to me that I think there's two things to really look at here. It almost looked to me like Bruce Arians was looking for that one thing, that one moment to say, look, he's not a team player. He's not bought in. His track record says it all. It's time to get him out of here. It almost looked, in the way Bruce Arians kind of sounded when not really speaking about this situation to the media, it sounded as if he was happy that he had something on AB that the GM or the team couldn't really give him a bailout excuse on. All right, so I think Bruce Arians is a bit to blame because a coach, especially a head coach, you are responsible for building those relationships with your star players. Maybe not the bottom guy on the roster, but it's good if you do that as well. But you need to find a way to build that bond with your star players. Obviously, we know he has a close connection with Tom Brady, but did he take the time to build that same relationship with Antonio Brown, understanding that this wide receiver was requested to be here by your star quarterback? I don't believe he did so. But then on the flip side of things, we have to look at Antonio Brown. Where does the culpability and the accountability lie with him? As I just read you guys, his track record in the NFL. It's not a very good track record. It's not a very good track record. Whether it's on the field antics, whether it's off the field problems, it seems like wherever he goes, there's an issue. It looks like the BUCS really gave him a pass. You're talking about a guy who has a very small contract compared to some of the stars in the league at his position. The vaccination card issue, again, I think many in Tampa, the organization, fans, were very sympathetic to that particular plight. We see many of the athletes who are refusing to get vaccinated. All right, they feel like their personal choice is getting invaded. That issue right there was swept under the rug. The media tried to bring it up, but I think the BUCS and their organization did a good job of making sure that was swept under the rug. And as soon as that issue, because remember, he's coming off a 3-game suspension. If you were dealing with a nagging injury, you could probably assume that those 3 games off might have given you time to recover. I'm assuming that's why Bruce Arians was possibly under the impression that AB was healthy and ready to go, especially after dealing with some of the vaccination card questions and status things where Bruce Arians probably wanted to cut him at that point in time. But again, as I mentioned before, where does the culpability and accountability lie with Antonio Brown? And the one thing that I don't like about this situation is that far too many people are bringing and playing the mental health card for Antonio Brown when Antonio Brown's not even playing the mental health card. right? They're trying to give him passes. They're trying to coddle him. They're trying to cater to him. They're trying to give him cop-out excuses for what he did. You know, if you play any professional sport, quitting in the middle of a game, walking off the field of play, whether it's basketball, football, any particular sport, is almost like an unforgivable sin. These are some of the things you absolutely cannot do. You cannot quit on your team in the middle of a game, whether things are going for you, whether things are going against you, whether you're getting into it with players, coaches, whatever is going on. Those are things that you hash out in the locker room after the fact, right? There are so many things that teams handle internally that you don't want to get played out in front of the cameras, in front of the bright lights, in front of the media, because now we have this humongous thing that we're talking about that's not related to football, and now you simply become a big distraction. So ultimately, I feel that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had absolutely no choice whatsoever to release this man. I do not believe that they're going to waive him. If you waive this man, he's going to become available on waiver wires. And after hearing his particular story, if these injury questions turn out to be true, there will be other suitors. There will be other suitors willing to pick this man up just based on sheer talent alone. If you look at a team like the Dallas Cowboys, they've been widely known for picking up players under heavy media scrutiny and just not caring. They will take all the media pressure, all the media questions, and they will bring that on. They've already had one of their wide receivers go down with a season-ending injury. If you put Antonio Brown on the waiver wire, imagine a team like the Dallas Cowboys picking him up and you guys meet in the playoffs, right? I don't believe they're going to give any other team the opportunity to pick him up. I think he gets waived at the end of the season because they don't want to see him on the football field coming back to haunt them. And that's just how spiteful some of these teams are. So even though Bruce Arians said this man is not a Buccaneer, he's still on that roster. He's still under contract, and he has not been waived. Now, again, I do not believe they're stupid enough to waive this man. But man, when you talk about Antonio Brown, I will not be the one to give this man the cop out. I will not be the one to give this man the excuse, removing him from any scrutiny or responsibility, because he did something that no athlete is supposed to do, right? You're not supposed to walk off the field in your team. Again, it's one of those unforgivable sins. And any team, high school, middle school, college, if you do this thing, you're probably going to get kicked off the team at any level. So I understand the Bucs' decision from that part. So you have to hold Antonio Brown's feet to the fire for that. You saw Mike Evans absolutely trying to stop him, but he's a grown man. Once his mind is made up to do something, you saw it was calculated. They tried to stop him, right? He made the calculated decision to quit on his team mid-game, and these are the repercussions and consequences that come for it, right? He did the same thing with the Raiders. He had a disagreement with the GM. He got what he asked for. He said, "You guys release me." They released him. He signed with the Patriots. The Patriots took him on, even though there was a lot of media scrutiny on his name at the time due to the sexual assault allegations, which, again, I feel they were BS. That's an ongoing situation that seemingly is now getting swept to the wayside because it probably lacks a lot of credibility. So, again, I want you guys, let me know what you think about Antonio Brown. My diagnosis for Antonio Brown is just stupidity. All right. Time and time again, he's been on multiple teams. This guy is talented enough. He has the talent to go down as one of the top 10 wide receivers of all time, but he's allowed a number of things outside of football to kind of get in the way of his career getting to that next level. I mean, you got to think, look at the small contract that he was signed to. I mean, the reason why the team was able to so easily cut him is because he doesn't have a large contract where they have to really think about the numbers, hash out the guaranteed money, and maybe take a loss on a lot of money. His contract, because of his prior actions with other teams, was full of incentives, right? Almost all of the money that he could potentially make was incentive based, and he needed to hit those performance bonuses, right, to get paid. So AB has kind of dispelled the notion that this was some type of contractual thing where the Bucs were trying to save money and not pay him $1 million. I think right now the Bucs are playing for seeding in the playoffs. They're trying to win out, right? They're trying to put themselves in the best situation possible going into the playoffs. I don't think they take those chances by benching them to win or lose the game. Now they'll have to go the rest of the season without him. And Bruce Arians is going to have a lot of pressure. Bruce Arians it's no secret that he never wanted Antonio Brown on this team. All right, you making now the executive decision to kick him off the roster or actually leave him on the roster and not play him, all right, because of your internalized feelings about this man prior to his signing, right? It could potentially come back to haunt him, right? If they get into a situation late game and their wide receivers aren't making plays, the media fire will turn to criticize Bruce Arians for this move, right? Because I think with regards to Bruce Arians, there were a lot of things that he could have done leading up to this particular situation to prevent this from happening altogether. I think Bruce Arians in this instance is lying about not knowing about AB's injury. I think he knew about AB's injury, but knew that because of the performance incentives, he could potentially compel AB to play at any time. And so I thought he believed that the money would motivate him to play through the injury. And at AB, there has to be some legitimacy to his injuries, because obviously the doctors had injected his foot. Anytime your star wide receiver has an injection in his ankle, I'm 1,000% positive the head coach knows. So for him to act as if he wasn't aware of this injury, again, this is going to look bad for Bruce Arians if this team flops in the playoffs. I think they have to win a Super Bowl, or Bruce Arians could be under fire for allowing this situation to balloon into what it was. Or you have only so many years left of Tom Brady playing at a high level. You have to be contending or winning Super Bowls the entire time he's there, and he cannot blow this. He absolutely cannot blow this because he's failed in this situation. He's let the team down. Also, there is accountability for AB here. He made some stupid decisions here, as he's done in his career in the past. He's made a lot of bonehead dumb decisions. These are not mental. This is not a mental illness. This is a man making conscious decisions. Let's stop giving them the cop out of mental illness. All right, there are people out there really dealing with real CTE and real mental illness. He has not been diagnosed with neither. He's not using it as a cop out himself. So let's stop giving. Let's just call his actions what they are. It was stupid, right? Just like anybody else, right? You got guys who get out of jail, get locked right back up committing the same crimes, get out of jail, get locked right back up committing the same crimes, and they have a pattern of just getting in trouble. Do we diagnose those guys as mentally ill, or we just call them stupid for making the same bad decisions over and over? Let's stop coddling these athletes. Let's stop babying these athletes, playing this emotional game. Every time they get in trouble, we're trying to baby them and find excuses to make it to say it's okay for the dumb things that they do. What AB did was completely stupid. That's not what you're supposed to do. And Bruce Arians, what he's been doing with AB, how he's handled that relationship with a star wide receiver, he is stupid himself. You have to call both actions out for what they are, right? But let's stop babying these athletes, man. Let's stop that, man. I think that's complete nonsense. How just because they're an athlete, we want to baby them and coddle them. It's okay, man. It's okay that you feel this way, man. We understand why the media is slandering you. The media is just going against black men. No, we keep using these cop-out excuses instead of calling out stupid behavior for what it is. And I honestly believe if AB had more people around him willing to call out his actions and be like, look, bro, this is stupid. He has too many yes men around him. He has too many people saying it was okay what you did. We understand, man. You were right. No, just how about you could be the best friend in the world by saying, look, bro, that was stupid. Stop doing this dumb stuff, right? It's time to just collect these checks, play football, and win Super Bowls with Tom Brady. And let's get your legacy back where it needs to be. That's what he should be doing. But again, we need to watch this Bruce Arians situation because, again, a coach's responsibility is to manage his players and to build relationships with his players, at least to a degree where things like this don't unfold on the field. If I'm the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this man's job is on the line. And if he doesn't come through and win a Super Bowl, and I know that's high standards. But he's allowed too many things to go on under his watch. The vaccination statuses, yes, you can blame the players, but that's under Bruce Arians' watch, right? The situation unfolded with AB, that's under his watch. That's his fault. He needs to be on the hot seat for this particular incident, all right? And the Tampa Bay Bucks need to be held to the standard of winning the Super Bowl. If they're willing to not waive this man, let him go free to another team, and you just out of spite, you want to keep him on this roster just so he doesn't sign with another contender. If you do that, that tells me you know how valuable and skilled this man is, and you just never liked him from the jump. All right, it's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. You guys, man, comment on the video below. Let me know what you think about this particular issue. Let me know what you think about what AB said. What do you think about what Tom Brady said? And then what do you think about this man, Bruce Arians? This man, Bruce Arians, right, who I believe, has incited and instigated this entire situation. And he's allowed this to become a big boiling pot that just completely blew and started boiling over on him and it got out of control. And his feet need to be held to the fire as well. All right, so it's FYF Sports, another great podcast episode. We're going to be back with more sports and news. Make sure you guys, man, we're going to be talking about this on our next live stream. So make sure you bring your thoughts, right? If you agree or disagree, I don't care, but let's show up. We got a debate. Before we even talk about this, we got an epic debate coming up with True the King and another subscriber, Ace 30, on the Boston Celtics and the Lakers. That's going to be happening Thursday night, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. True the King, the Hall of Famer on this channel, man. He's putting his Hall of Fame credentials on the line, right, to defend his Boston Celtics, man. Can he win this big time epic debate, man? Make sure you guys tune in tonight, man, to see. I'm talking about these are two heavyweight debaters, man. True the King, undefeated so far in the debates, versus Sturdy, man. Sturdy comes with great arguments, great logic, great debate, talking points all the time. I'm talking about this is a heavyweight matchup. We haven't had a major debate like this in a long time, right? We got the Cash App on the line. Make sure you guys tune in to FYF Sports, man. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss that. All right. If you guys aren't getting the notifications, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We drop all notifications when we're going live on those other social platforms. If you're having trouble receiving our notifications, just click the unsubscribe button, subscribe again, and then click the notification bell. And that's usually the fix to those notification issues. All right, but we're going to be back with more sports and news later, man. Appreciate you guys watching. We're grinding to 100K in 2022. It's FYF Sports, and we out.